dalam karir, pekerjaan, maupun kehidupan. Saya Prisa Sampodatu pamit undur diri, sampai berjumpa kembali. Bye-bye.
UNESCO asks that infrastructure projects in priority tourist areas be halted. Malindo Feed Mill recorded a positive performance in the first half of 2021. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we'll provide you the latest COVID-19 information. And please stay safe by taking some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a face mask, avoiding crowds, cleansing your hand, and having less mobility. With me, Wicky Adrian, this is Market Headlines. UNESCO asked that infrastructure projects in priority tourist areas be halted as it potentially affected the outstanding universal value.
Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno ensured that the government would prioritize the ecosystem of Komodo dragons in the infrastructure projects at Komodo National Park, Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara. The statement was in response to a letter issued by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee that asked Indonesia to halt all tourism projects on the island. UNESCO asked that infrastructure project in priority tourist area be halted as it potentially affected the outstanding universal value until the government submitted a revised environmental impact assessment that will be reviewed by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Sandiaga said his ministry would coordinate with the Environment and the Forestry Ministry regarding the AMDAL evaluation and hold a meeting with UNESCO to follow up on the latter.
Saya sedang meminta minute of meeting dari UNESCO tersebut dan saya nggak ingin katanya-katanya, tapi saya ingin melihat secara detail, real dan membahas line by line dari diskusi yang dilakukan pada meeting yang menjadi referensi tersebut. Dan karena ini sangat penting dan dihadiri oleh media internasional juga, izinkan saya Cica untuk mengadres ini di kesempatan khusus.
He suspected that there was a slight discrepancy in information from UNESCO's letter circulating in the community and the committee's notes to government. According to him, there will be limited areas including ecotourism areas and areas that can be visited massively by tourists at Komodo National Park. Sandiaga Uno also ensured that the letter from UNESCO would not change the government's plan to develop Labuan Bajo tourism according to the state's tourism map and prepared the area as the locations for the G20 international agenda in 2022. Jakarta, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel.
In the aftermath of the allegedly fake donation of 2 trillion rupiah from Akiditio, left important lesson in profiling financial transaction. The head of Indonesian Financial Transaction Reports and Analysis Center said that all parties must be careful to avoid promises on irresponsible financial transactions.
The family of businessman Akiditio caused a stir because of 2 trillion grant donation that went viral recently. Investigate a calibration, the origin of donation is said to be a profit from Akiditio's business in Singapore and Hong Kong, but it was allegedly fake. The head of Indonesian Financial Transactions Reports and Analysis Center, Diana Rai, said that the investigations was started from odd profiling of Akiditio. And it was found that the account of the contributor in the country does not match the nominal promised. So, to prevent in this future, PPATK also asked all parties to conduct a general profiling analysis if transaction involving large funds.
Kalau segala sesuatu terlihat too good to be true, dalam bahasa Inggris itu sulit dipercaya ya kebenarannya gitu. Itu maka kita harus think and rating, berpikir dan berpikir lagi gitu. Betul-betul kita mempertimbangkan apakah ini orang ini bisa dipercaya apa tidak, apakah uangnya ini ada apa tidak.
Furthermore, Diana Rai confirmed that he would continue to investigate the alleged fake donation account claim, which was rumored to be in Singapore. His party would cooperate with Singapore authorities to investigate the claim. Jakarta, Rahajo Pakmo for IDX Channel.
Association of the Indonesian Tourist and Travel Agencies assessed that now the travel agency sector has become the worst sector, while before it was the hero of a national economy. Before COVID-19, travel and tourism had become one of the most important sectors in the world economy. But now it hardly matched. Not only people have less mobility, but many airlines have laid off their workers and terminate routes. It makes tourism industry falls even harder. It was recorded that the depreciation of tourism foreign exchange was 3.54 billion US dollar, or around 51.2 trillion rupiah, while before pandemic which reached 16.9 billion US dollar.
Ya, kita tahu bahwa pandemi ini sudah melanda Indonesia dan seluruh dunia hampir lebih dari 1,5 tahun. Ya. Situasi ini tentu saja menjadi sangat sulit bagi kita semua yang bergerak di bidang pariwisata, apapun sektornya, terutama tentu saja di bidang wira perjalanan wisata. Kawan-kawan yang ini yang dulunya adalah pahlawan devisa, sekarang merasakan situasi.
Moving on to the next story, Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller said the U.S. Central Bank could start tapering off by October if employment rising by 800,000 to 1 million. On the other hand, from the U.S. stock market, shares of Robinhood jumped about 16% in the pre-market after surging more than 24%. More stories on today's International Minute.
Shares of Robinhood jumped about 16% to the pre-market after surging more than 24% on Wednesday, blowing last week's $38 initial public offering price. The widely popular stock trading app fell by 8% in its debut on Thursday. It crept up Friday and Monday before rocketing higher Tuesday to $46 per share. Robinhood appears to be garnering attention from retail investors after giving roughly a quarter of its IPO shares to its own clients. It's a top-traded stocks on Fidelity, which is generally a good proxy for individual investors' interest. General Motors on Wednesday reported second quarter earnings of $1.97 per share. It's unclear whether analyst estimates around $2.23 per share accounted for $1.3 billion warranty cost. The revenue of $34.17 billion handily beat estimates GM up to its full year guidance in June. GM projected better than expected results in the second quarter despite the industry-wide impact on the shortage, which also is causing record vehicle pricing and profits. Shares of GM were little changed in Wednesday's pre-market. A Brazilian Supreme Court justice has ruled that President Jair Bolsonaro should be investigated for making unproven claims that Brazil's electronic voting system is riddled with fraud, adding the far-right leader to an ongoing probe on the spread of fake news by his government. Bolsonaro, who is under increasing pressure amid the COVID-19 pandemic, has seen a drop in popularity, has said there will be no presidential elections next year as planned if the system is not overhauled. Bolsonaro has rejected calls to impose strict lockdown measures and has faced a mass protest demanding his impeachment as Brazil has been devastated by the pandemic. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller on Monday said the U.S. Central Bank will start to reduce its support for the economy by October. If the next two monthly job reports show employment rising by 800,000 to 1 million. And once the Fed begin the process, Waller said that there is no reason to go slow in the taper. The Fed is buying $80 billion in treasuries and $40 billion in mortgage-backed security each month to help push downward on borrowing costs and speed recovery. It has said it will continue to make purchases at the pace until the economy makes substantial further progress towards the Fed's program on the full employment and 2% inflation. IDX Channel reported.
Market Headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Pfizer Incorporate naik 2,2%, indeks Dow Jones menguat 0,.
Nantikan Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia 2021. Segera.
But this is also something I'm trying to prove. Jadi petani tuh oke loh, banyak loh opportunity untuk menjadi petani di Indonesia, jangan dilihat sebagai hal yang buruk gitu.
Tantangan terbesar tuh apa sih bagi Amanda mengembangkan sayur box?
Salah satu challenge yang kita hadapi itu bisa bareng-bareng itu tim dari segi
Biden mengatakan Amerika Serikat akan membagikan setidaknya 20 juta dosis vaksin COVID-19 resmi Amerika Serikat.
Apakah ini lagi-lagi akan menjadi sentimen yang cukup positif atau justru sepertinya bisa jadi tidak sesignifikan sebelumnya?
Menurut saya sih kalau dilihat cerminan pasar beberapa hari terakhir sih nggak ada efeknya.
Indeks harga saham gabungan ditutup di level 5.833.860 dan ini merupakan level terendah dalam beberapa bulan terakhir.
Welcome back. A number of regions in Indonesia have complained that the availability of the COVID-19 vaccine is starting to run out. Responding to this, the Ministry of Health stated that the stock of the COVID-19 vaccine was not lacking or scarce, but the distribution process required several stages and time.
A number of regions in Indonesia have complained that the availability of the COVID-19 vaccine is starting to run out. It is feared that this will affect the second dose of vaccination. Spokesperson for COVID-19 vaccination, Siti Nadia Tarmizi, said the stock of COVID-19 vaccine was not lacking or scarce, but the distribution process required several stages and time. According to Nadia, the public needs to understand that the COVID-19 vaccine they received does not come all at once or at the same time. In addition, Nadia said that the cause of the lack of availability of the COVID-19 vaccine was because the number of people who would be injected with the vaccine was far greater than the availability of the vaccine, where the vaccination needs reached 208 million targets, or around 426 million doses. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has only received 150 million doses so far. IDX Channel.
Vaccination is an important step in handling the COVID-19 pandemic. Then how is the realization of vaccination in Indonesia so far? Let's examine it in these following infographics. This is the first one is, of course, about COVID-19 vaccination in Indonesia as of August 4th, 2021 by 6 p.m. First dose vaccination as much as 23.29%. Meantime, for the second dose vaccination, already reached 10.55% so far. And the vaccination targets is 208.2 million people to be injected by the vaccine. The government targets to inject 2 million doses per day. In order to achieve this target, the government has prepared several strategies, including determining a number of priority areas in the vaccination program. In parallel, efforts to accelerate are also carried out by ensuring the availability of vaccines. In addition, the government is also trying to speed up the distribution process by involving the military and police. Talking about distribution, which provinces receive the most vaccine distribution. Let's check it through the next graphic. This is the data about distribution of COVID-19 vaccine by provinces. Bali, 4.9 doses of vaccine. Central Java, 9.1 million doses. West Java, 10.8 million doses. Jakarta, 12.4 million doses. And East Java, 12.4 million doses. Vaccine distribution also has its own problems, one of which was stated by the governor of West Java, Ridwan Kamil, who proposed that the provinces have greater authority in regulating the distribution of vaccines to districts or cities so that they are more effective and efficient. Not only about distribution, the implementation of vaccination is also often faced by various hoaxes that lead people to hesitate to be vaccinated. Let's check some hoaxes about the COVID-19 vaccine in the next graphic. View from some hoax that had been spread through various media. The first one is vaccination increases the potential for infection and even causes death. And vaccines are not effective if the individual does not experience side effects. Once again, I remind you, those are the hoaxes. And the facts about vaccine, of course, reduce the potential for death by 75 to 80%. The vaccine remains efficacious and safe for comorbid individuals, and vaccines still work even though they don't feel side effects. 20% of individuals don't feel side effects. Rumors of vaccinations have resulted in some residents still being reluctant to do so, one of which is rumors of the COVID-19 vaccine causing death. But in fact, a number of studies show that COVID-19 vaccination can actually prevent potential death. A Public Health England study shows that a single dose of Pfizer or AstraZeneca vaccine can reduce the potential for death by 75 to 80%. Therefore, the socialization related to vaccination must continue, especially regarding the importance of vaccination. Some of the points are in the next graphic. This is the list of the point why we need to be vaccinated. The first one is creating herd immunity, prevents potential serious complications. People can work more freely and protecting citizens who cannot be vaccinated. The Central Statistic Agency noted that 65.3% of the public realized the importance of the COVID-19 vaccine for prevention. This was revealed in the recent respondents had vaccinated, which was part of the community behavior survey during the COVID-19 pandemic period. Meanwhile, 31.3% of respondents say that they were willing to vaccinate themselves because they were ordered by their workplace or the government. And yes, regardless of conditions and situations, we must continue to strive for acceleration of vaccination for the sake of common health so that we can immediately be free from the COVID-19 pandemic. Stay with us because we'll be right back after the break.
Datu membawakan program berita News Screen yang menghadirkan informasi seputar ekonomi maupun juga bisnis dari dalam negeri.
Pemerintah semakin percaya diri mampu merealisasikan ekspektasi pertumbuhan yang tinggi.
Kita lihat dari PMI market, kita sudah mencapai yang tertinggi.
Kementerian Keuangan memastikan tidak akan mengenakan PPN pada barang kebutuhan pokok.
Berbeda ketika sembako ini sifatnya premium.
Pemerintah kembali memutuskan untuk memperpanjang pemberlakuan pembatasan kegiatan masyarakat atau PPKM skala mikro.
Bagaimana tanggapan dari pengusaha dengan angka ini?
Tentu membuat kita harus lebih berhati-hati.
Langkah apa yang tepat?
Jadi kita harus bisa menunjukkan kepada masyarakat bahwa vaksinasi itu penting.
Sukses itu bukan destinasi, tapi self-improvement. Jadi sedikit demi sedikit kita bisa improve dan kita bisa ada pembelajaran.
Biden mengatakan Amerika Serikat akan membagikan setidaknya 20 juta dosis vaksin COVID-19 resmi Amerika Serikat.
Apakah ini lagi-lagi akan menjadi sentimen yang cukup positif atau justru sepertinya bisa jadi tidak sesignifikan sebelumnya?
Menurut saya sih kalau dilihat cerminan pasar beberapa hari terakhir sih nggak ada efeknya.
Indeks harga saham gabungan ditutup di level 5.833.860 dan ini merupakan level terendah dalam beberapa bulan terakhir.
Welcome back. We are in the last segment at the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,194.13. Then approaching the closing time of the first session, the index was on the level of 6,202.42. Then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,205.42. In short, JCI went up 0.75%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got finance went up 2.67%. Transportation and logistics sector went up 0.48%. Meanwhile, cyclic sector went down 1.4% and infrastructure went down 1.23%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. BBKP went up 20.95% to the level of 635 rupiah per share. BBRI went up 5.19% to the level of 4,050 rupiah per share. Agro went up 5.43% to the level of 2,720 rupiah per share. And BBYB went up 24.79% to the level of 1,510 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Arto went down 3.97%. Cent went down 2.99%. Friend went down 5.19%. And ANTM went down 2.07%. And this is the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Opened at the level 14,325. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at level 14,361. In summary, rupiah went down 0.53%. During the first 6 months of 2021, Malindo Feed Mill managed to record a positive performance. The company was able to post a profit of 128.6 billion rupiah.
During the first 6 months of 2021, Malindo Feed Mill managed to record a positive performance because both revenue and profit increased rapidly. The financial report shows the company was able to reverse the situation from recording a net loss of 44.22 billion to a profit of 128.6 billion rupiah. In other words, its bottom line shot up 390.82% year-on-year. The increase in the bottom line is inseparable from the top line, which rose 43.42% year-on-year throughout the first semester of 2021. The company pocketed a net income of up to 4.57 trillion. This achievement increased compared to net income in the same period last year, which was recorded at 3.19 trillion rupiah. The increase was driven by increased sales of feed, day-old chick, and broiler products due to continued improvement in chicken demand during the quarter. Feed sales still contributed the highest at 2.87 trillion rupiah, or equivalent to 62.79% of total net income. IDX Channel reports.
Semen Indonesia posted a sales volume including domestic clicker sales of 19.15 million tons in the first half of 2021, or increased by 5.7% year-on-year.
Semen Indonesia managed to record a sleek performance throughout the first semester of 2021. This state-owned issuer posted a sales volume including domestic clinker sales of 19.15 million tons. This number increased by 5.7% from sales in the same period of 18.11 million tons. Semen Indonesia's management say the increase in sales volume was supported by positive sales volume in the domestic market and increased sales to the export market. Meanwhile, national cement demand until June 2021 increased by 7.3%. Almost all regions in Indonesia recorded positive demand growth, except for Bali and Nusa Tenggara. The highest demand growth is seen in Sulawesi, which is mostly from the demand for sack cement. IDX Channel reports.
During first semester of 2021, Ramayana Lestari posted profit of 137.83 billion rupiah, or 24 times higher than the same period in 2020.
In line with the company's revenue growth and profit growth, Ramayana Lestari Sentosa managed to record a positive performance during first semester of 2021. The company's financial report as of June 2021 shows Ramayana posted a profit for the year, 24.71 times more than the same period in the previous year. The company's profit was recorded at 137.83 billion rupiah, while in the first half of the previous year, the company only posted a profit of 5.36 billion rupiah. Meanwhile, the company reversed an operating loss in the first semester of 2020 of 50.91 billion to an operating profit of 122.65 billion rupiah in the first semester of 2021. The company generated a gross profit of 763.74 billion, an increase compared to the same period in the previous year. The company's total revenue in the first 6 months of this year also increased by 16.5% to 1.72 trillion rupiah from 1.47 trillion in the first semester of 2020. IDX Channel reports.
Step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation, and here is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market lines today. Please, as the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on, keep protecting your family by following the health protocols, wearing face masks, keep your distance, wash your hands through running water, and also continue to support the vaccination program to accelerate the creation of herd immunity. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.
Masak apa ya? Pengennya sih bikin salad. Tapi kok ingredientsnya ini lagi? Ada variasi lain nggak sih buat salad? Tomat lagi. Juna. Masa salad ini lagi isinya sih? Bisa yang lain nggak? Lebih bervariasi gitu.
Yang mana ini? Yang mana nih?
Yang ini deh.
Itu.